Next.
Welcome to Tips for Gamers. Today we're going to be breaking down the top Superstar X-Factor abilities for cornerbacks in Madden 23 franchise mode. These are hands down the best Superstar X-Factor abilities. It's not even close. With that being said, guys, let's see if we can get this video to 100 likes. Let's see if you guys have what it takes. If each person likes it, who does actually like the video, then we'll see where we can get to. And to top it off, guys, do you think Jalen Ramsey is better than Darrelle Revis in his prime? Let us know in the comments below. Jalen Ramsey is such a dynamic cornerback that he's like a safety, he's like a middle linebacker and a cornerback all in one. And Bottleneck, although we do enjoy Bottleneck, when they enter the zone, they're highly likely to dominantly win any man press encounter. It's good, but it just doesn't encapsulate how talented this corner really is. You know, universal coverage is a good one here. It says the most physical coverage defenders prevent catches from happening even when their target has hands on the ball. When they enter the zone, they are nearly guaranteed knockouts. Okay, I do like this one. This one's a close second for us. But the shutdown's the one that's going to take the charge here. Okay, shutdown defenders have the talent to erase receivers from the game. When they enter the zone, their coverage is tighter and interceptions are more frequent on contested catches. When you have a guy who's this elite and you're going to pay $100+ million for, or up to $100 million for, depending on his overall in franchise mode, you want to establish a wipeout zone of, hey, I'm going to put him on your best guy and I'm going to eliminate him from the game. I am fine with eliminating one of my cornerbacks to eliminate your best wide receiver. If he's that elite, if you have a Tyreek Hill, you have a DK Metcalf, you have a D-Hop, you have those guys, and you can just say, throw him the ball because my guy has a good chance to intercept it too, and his coverage is going to be tighter. Okay, that is something that when we have shutdown on our cornerbacks, we've noticed they have just played better. They've just been harder to beat, and this is one that we really, really enjoy. So shutdown's the one we're going to recommend. Universal coverage is the other one. Bottleneck would be, I'd say close second, but third. We'd put it more in that third category. I don't think Bottleneck truly deciphers or encapsulates how good Jalen Ramsey actually is. This is the hardest position to play in football, at least in my opinion. Cornerbacks, like, this is ridiculous to play a cornerback and to be that elite to where you can follow a guy wherever he goes and his crazy cuts that he does, because these guys are so fast nowadays, it's insane. And even in Madden, that's the case. If they turn down their speed threshold to 0, the guys are even faster. The speed's even greater, okay? So you really want to just have your guy be able to eliminate him, and that's huge. So let's say that you have a cornerback who is an auto-generated cornerback, or you find one in the NFL who you end up making really good, and his stamina is really low. Okay, you may want to add recuperation, because not one size fits all for every single situation, and you need to be able to adapt. That's one of the biggest things in football in general, not just Madden. It's the actual sport itself, is adapting. The great guys in the NFL, the great head coaches, the general managers, even the players, they learn to adapt to a certain situation, right? They evolve very quickly. Right, and that's what you want. Let's say your guy is really talented, his stamina's low, it's auto-generated draft class, and you're just like, hey, this guy's an X-Factor, he's great, but he's constantly exhausted. Okay, you may want to add recuperation. Another thing, too, if you have the rolling fatigue setting on, okay, where each week, you know, it basically accumulates the fatigue, and then towards the end of the season, you're seeing your guys are actually pretty tired. You may switch over in the playoffs to recuperation for the majority of your guys. You may do that. Okay, and it may be a good move for you because you need the most out of them. The best players play the best of best situations, right? And that's something that you want to, have in your mind of going, hey, I may take away one of these other abilities that, yes, they're good, but they're not good if they're not being shown on the field. Okay, it's huge. If they're not on the field, it's not worth it. So let's say you don't need recuperation because your stamina's fine and that's not where you're going to go with. Some people may say strip specialist, and I'm not going to do that because if the guy caught the ball, you already failed as a DB. You already failed. If it's in your zone, it's in man coverage, you already failed. That's step one of failure. Step two is if you allow them to score. So I'm not going to focus on step two before focusing on step one. Step one is my major focus. don't catch the ball at all costs. There's good ones, outside shade. Majority of the numbers you're going to find where quarterbacks throw the balls outside the numbers. That's what it is. You know, looking through looking through teams where they throw it on average, we found that there's a lot of them who throw outside the numbers. And in certain games, they'll switch that because they see something in the defense, and that does happen. You could do inside shade for a slot. Still, I would choose outside shade more than I would choose inside shade. And you can obviously change this. If you know your audience, you know what the opposing team is going to do, you're playing a user and he just throws inside all the time, you may want to switch it. You know, and that's kind of up to you on what you want to do. But I want to be, you know, completely shut down as much as possible. And mid-zone KO, this is something that I would definitely put on my guys. Defenders with this ability force more catch, knockouts, and react quicker in any midfield zone coverage. Less than 20 yards from the line of scrimmage inside the numbers, and 10 to 20 yards outside. Okay, so this is the one here. If I'm going to do zone, this is what I want. I want to lock this down. We already have the man coverage solidified as well. So this is the mid-zone KO is the one that we're going to recommend to you guys. All right, so far what we have is the shutdown. We have the mid-zone KOs. We're covering the man coverage, covering the interceptions. We're covering the zone coverage as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the one step ahead. Okay, typically we don't double down on the same type of attributes, and this would be man coverage here. But we are, because cornerbacks do have the toughest position. Quarterbacks in general, and I'm talking QBs, okay, those guys, yes, their position is very tough. Obviously, it's the toughest position because of all the things you have to remember. But the cornerback is a different style of toughness, right? You obviously have the mental game that you need to know, but then you need to have the athleticism and the physical traits to be able to do things that other guys can't do. You got to run backwards just as fast as a guy's running forwards and still be able to know exactly where he's going. So if you can shut down a guy like Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, if you can shut down those guys with one dude, that is worth every single penny. $100 million, you tell me what you need, and I'll figure out how to get that money. Okay, because those guys are irreplaceable. That's why most guys run zone. Most defensive coordinators run, a lot of zone because they can't actually run man. They don't have the manpower. No pun intended. But one step ahead is the one we're going to recommend. Defenders with this ability generally react much faster to receiver cut moves when in man coverage. It's not inside the numbers, outside the numbers, 10, 20 yards from the line of scrimmage, nothing like that. It's just simple man coverage. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5.